We live in a diverse country with many people of different ethnicities and backgrounds. No matter what race you are, most people can say they have at least one friend of color or a colored person who has impacted their lives. America is one big melting pot of different types of people. So, why is it when we turn on our TV, the programs and the movies we see say otherwise? There was once a time in history where Caucasians demonstrated their Aryan superiority by darkening their skin color to portray egregious racial stereotypes in Hollywood, and this was acceptable. As overt as this problem was back in the day, films still face some of the same problems to this date. At the most recent Academy Awards, Chris Rock took sharp jabs at the Academy for the lack of representation of colored people. While some think this is a recent issue, this is a problem that has occurred for generations. Whitewashing, which is taking characters that were originally diverse and substituting them with white actors, has been so engraved in cinematics that people often disregard and ignore this problem, although it strikes so much controversy. We consistently fail to appreciate and honor the work of non-white actors and claim white actors are simply better for the job. According to the Washington Post, some reasons for a lack of diversity in leading roles is due to profitability. There are perpetual misconceptions that leading actors of color do not gross the same successful and substantial profits that white actors do. As filmmaker Gavin Poland wrote in New York magazines, African American actors do not sell overseas, unless of course you are Will Smith or Denzel Washington, but only in a thriller or action movie. I have on more than one occasion been told that a studio wouldn't approve a black lead in one of my films because it would bring down the international number. The fact whitewashing still occurs in 2016 is appalling and inexcusable. The fact that the 2015 Oscars has no nominations for people of color is appalling and unjust. I've always had a predilection for observing and watching movies, and I've come to notice the unmerited and biased casting in films, to the point where roles intended for people of color are played strictly by the majority of Caucasians. Whitewashing is one of Hollywood's worst habits and must meet its demise to stop racism in film. I am Mia Mangione, and limiting movie and TV roles for only white actors violates a movie's purpose and message. Using all white actors to play culturally diverse roles is an abomination to film and civil rights. People of color do not obtain prominent leading roles. However, it's uncanny how much easier it is for them to score a role of a villain or an antagonist, or just a secondary character. With this being said, there simply is not enough roles for people of color, nor is there enough filmmakers of color. The advent of whitewashing dates back to as early as 1915. One of the most controversial acts of whitewashing is blackface. While it was a customary and accepted occurrence, blackface now perturbs many people and is considered extremely repugnant. One of the first cinematic features was also extremely racist, and it is called In the Birth of a Nation. Caucasian actors covered their face with burnt cork to appear black so they could negatively depict African Americans. The movie publicized the Ku Klux Klan and portrayed blacks as inferior savages. The NewYork.com in 2016 wrote, the movie proved horrifically effective at sparking violence against blacks in many cities. Another demonstration of blackface is the movie Othello. Othello, who portrays a strong, robust black general, was played by a white actor, Laurence Olivier. This was a movie not meant to criticize the black race like most movies, but it still was portrayed black by a white man, which raises the question, how are people of color supposed to live hopeful lives when they can't even secure a spot in a movie portraying their own race? One of the most recent portrayals of blackface was in the movie Tropic Thunder, made in 2008 by renowned actor Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey astonishingly received an Oscar nomination for his portrayal as a black man, a nomination most black people cannot acquire. While blackface discriminates against black people, yellowface is discriminatory against Asian people. Yellowface was used to impose a distorted illusion of Asian identity, to the point where actual Asian actors were seen as synthetic. This is apparent in the movie The Breakfast at Tiffany's, where white actor Mickey Rooney was portrayed as a Japanese man. He went the full 9 yards and went with this character by taping his eyelids back and putting in bucktooth dentures and even construing his own interpretation of the Asian dialect. A more modern case of yellowface is portrayed in Japanese franchise Ghost in the Shell, where directors use CGI to make American actress Scarlett Johansson look more Asian. Aside from yellow and blackface, there are infinite Hollywood movies that portray whitewashing. One example is The Prince of Persia. A prince of Persian descent is played by Swedish and Jewish American actor Jake Gyllenhaal. Not only was the main character white, but none of the remaining main actors were of Iranian, Middle Eastern, or Muslim descent. Whitewashing is also present in the movie The Last Samurai, played by Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise, the same guy who was the hotshot fighter pilot Maverick in Top Gun, the same rebellious senior high schooler in the movie Risky Business, played the last living samurai. Just think about that. Another example is the Avatar: The Last Airbender. All 4 anime characters were depicted in the original Nickelodeon cartoon as Asian or Native American. However, the 3 protagonists were played by white characters in the film version. And it's actually goes back to how people of color were portrayed as the villain, because the one villain in the show was of color. The only positive thing coming from this is that some actors and directors are finally coming to realize just how controversial whitewashing is and are succumbing apologies. On U.S. Today, director Alex Proyas released a statement to Forbes apologizing for the lack of diversity in the casting Gods of Egypt, which stars Gerard Butler, a Scottish man actor, and Nucala Yaldo, who is a Caucasian actor who's also in the series Game of Thrones, while there was only one person of color in the whole movie. The director quotes, "The process of casting a movie has many complicated variables, but it is clear that our casting choices should have been more diverse. I sincerely apologize to those who were offended by the decisions we made." Another example of whitewashing can be seen in the Academy Awards, where 94% is white, leading to a great disparity in nominations of people of color. Even when people of color are nominated, it's usually in roles that can only be played by people of color. Examples, Selma or 12 Years as a Slave. And although you may not be able to see as well as I'd like, here is a chart that demonstrates the Oscar percentages in regards to race. It says that 93 or 94% lead actors are white, and 6 are black, and only 1% are Asian. If there are no modifications in movies regarding whitewashing, movies will become more profoundly racist and outlandish, as if CGIing people to make them look more Asian wasn't enough. These outrageous acts will only escalate, and the world of film would not be taken seriously anymore. Ultimately, minority groups need a more substantial support system within the movie industry, and directors need to be more lenient and objective while typecasting. People of color need more opportunities, and the limelight should not be shined on just the 2 or 3 big-time, thriving colored actors. Rather, all actors should be given an equal chance at stardom. Thank you for listening. I'm Mia Mangione.